What is up, folks? You have found the Turbo and 2Ks podcast. I am Turbo himself, and across the, not the desk this time, across the bar from me is this lovely, lovely gentleman, Mr. Kyle 2Ks Kaler. And sit back, relax. We have a full slate we're actually getting into baseball. So now I know I'm super stoked. I know Kyle's super stoked because that's our wheelhouse. Baseball and football, and we're not doing any football today, so calm down. But we're doing baseball. Of course, we have to talk about Zion Williamson. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a podcast or a sports podcast at that point. And then we're gonna throw in a little bit of hooker talk. So kick back, relax, grab a drink, and this is the Turbo and 2Ks podcast. Well, all right, Mr. Kaler, we have had quite an exciting week, and not only on the sports front, but on the personal front. If you guys don't follow the Facebook page, I don't know what your problem is, but it's facebook.com/turbo and 2Ks. We have been picked up by iTunes. We are official. We are big boys. And I checked when Kyle walked in my door. He is wearing his big boy pants. So, so we have that going for us. So yeah, get the podcast app off the iTunes store and just search Turbo and 2Ks, and it should pop right up for you. We did get our 100th download, and that was probably this morning sometime. So, and Kyle, I'm sure you and I talked about this last night. 2 weeks in, I would have never thought we would have had 100 downloads.
No, absolutely not. It feels pretty good. I mean, I can't believe that people actually want to listen to us.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Talk about sports. I mean, we used to do this stuff every weekend at the bar.
Yeah. And now you get to hear our jabber. However, a little less intoxicated. But on top of that, we also moved the studio. We moved it from Kyle's basement to the bar at my house. So we are in Studio T. If you guys have any other cooler, more hipper nicknames for the studio, I'm all for it. But until then, that's what we're going to call it. So yeah, personally, a big week for us. Like I said, iTunes picked us up. We have some new digs. And with all that being said, let's jump into some cool ass shit. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
So in the sports mainstream here, and Kyle, I'll go ahead and introduce the subject, and I know I've been rambling on, so I'll kind of let you take the lead on this. So, of course, being huge baseball fans, the Manny Machado signing. What are your thoughts? Is it a good contract? And ultimately, is it going to make the Padres a contender this year?
First off, I think it's a good contract for now. Maybe the first 4, 5, 6 years of it's going to be good, but it's going to be like any other baseball contract where you're going to get into that tail end and you're going to be eating that contract for a while. And Manny could be the type of player that he is. I mean, 26 now, so
right.
At the end of this, he can be in his mid-30s. He might still be able to. I don't ever see him not being able to hit in the MLB. So by the time he's in his mid-30s, he might turn him into a DH.
Or a first baseman.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching him play on the field, he's probably could play any position in the infield, and he's going to be above average. I mean, that's just the type of player he is. But as far as them being a contender now, I think they're a year or two away from it. I think they're going to be an exciting team to watch. They got a lot of young kids that we don't know anything about, and so and now that they have Manny on their team, they're going to get more games that are on national television that we're going to be able to watch and see. It's not always going to be Red Sox, Yankees. Maybe we'll be able to watch somebody else.
What's the matter with the Red Sox? But no, I think you're exactly right. It is a good contract for right now. I mean, you are getting arguably one of the top 3 players in the game. Little hefty price tag, but I have a feeling it was a lot less than what he was expecting.
Oh yeah.
On the free market, I mean, you go back to even 3-4 years ago. That could have been, a $350 or $400 million contract. But my big thing is this: putting him in the middle or at the beginning of that lineup doesn't scare me. Doesn't scare me. Their pitching staff doesn't scare me at all because I was telling you before we came on air, I don't even know who the hell any of these pitchers are.
No.
Are they young? Yeah. Are they unproven? Absolutely. Could they be amazing? Could they be the next New York Mets with their starting rotation? Possibly.
Absolutely.
Possibly. But what I'm really, really excited to see is once they get Fernando Tatis Jr. up, they said he's going to play short, Manny's going to play third. That's going to be a pretty slick infield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hosmer is perennial Gold Glove. I mean, he's as good as it gets in the field. I mean, you can't argue with that. So you have your corners that are going to be absolutely amazing, and you have two very young kids up the middle, both athletic as fuck, can pick it, can do anything. So yeah, do they have the pieces? Yes. Are they ready right now? No. And one of the things that I'm really, really curious to see is how Manny takes that next leadership role. With his past right now, I think that could be a problem. I really do, because let's be honest, this is Eric Hosmer's team right now. How are those two going to mesh dynamically? Of course, right now they interviewed Eric Hosmer, and he's totally cool with it. But when it comes to the fact, in the locker room, you're with these dudes. 162 games in 180 days. That can be grueling, I'm sure, especially when you get two different personalities that don't mesh. So what's going to happen in the batter's box, on the field, I think is going to be proven. No big deal.
Absolutely.
And like you brought up before we went on air is, Manny's power numbers are going to go down. That's a big ballpark with a lot more conditions, the wind, and the ball doesn't fly out really well until it heats up. So, but yeah, and the excuse me, the thing that kind of drives this conversation more than the lineup, more than the camaraderie and the chemistry is that division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him beating the Dodgers, do you?
No.
Do you see him beating the Rockies?
No.
I do see him beating the Diamondbacks and the Giants because holy dumpster fire. And I'm pretty sure that the Diamondbacks sent that to the entire league when they traded away Paul Goldschmidt. The face of your franchise, young as fuck, still maybe not even reached his prime, but I'm kind of glad he's out of there so we can get the coverage he deserves, because probably one of the best underrated pure hitters, especially from the right-hand side.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so that's like I said, I just don't until we. It's one of those wait and see.
But being a San Diego, if I was a San Diego fan, and I'm the outside looking in on this, but if I was a Padres fan, I would be stoked right now. I would be so excited. Like,
oh yeah,
they're telling their fans that we're in on this. We're going all in. We just spent $300 million on this guy. We are all in. These kids that are coming up, they're not proven yet, and they might be a year or two away from being proven.
Yep.
But they're all in on it, and they're talking like they might take a shot at Brice Harper on all this also.
Yeah, and that kind of leading us to our next point is now that the first domino has fallen, the big one's still yet to fall, and that being like Kyle mentioned is Brice, and it came out earlier this week that the Nationals, who I actually thought he would end up back with, they're done. They pulled their offer, washed their hands, and said we're completely moving on. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, is it possible that he signs there? Absolutely. They have a ton of money left under the soft salary cap, or the luxury tax, or however you want to refer to it. So yeah, the money's there. Mm-hmm. But if you gave me the choice of having Brice Harper or two pitchers, for the money, I'm taking the pitchers all day. All day, just to, because you've got to have one hell of a pitching coach for that young staff. There's no mentors. There's no, like, folks to gravitate towards. Teach these kids how to be pros. Teach them, the off day workouts. The stretching routines. But when they do start, there's not that grizzled vet, if you want to call it that. There isn't that in their clubhouse, and I'm still in the camp too. I would much rather have 2 players for that price than 1.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I would, as far as for winning baseball games, I'd take the 2 pitchers, two above average pitchers over Brice Harper, absolutely. But
Like,
on the other side of it, I can see where you would take Brice Harper if you're wanting to put fans in stands, you're wanting to make money,
yes.
and at the end of the day, everybody wants to win.
Yep.
But when you're running, it's a business at the same time, and you want to make money off of it. And Brice Harper, arguably, you can make an argument on it. He might be the best player in baseball to have on your franchise if your goal in the end is just making money.
Yep.
I mean, you see the kids all the way down to little league level now they want to be like Brice Harper. He's probably the most popular player in the game. They want hair like Brice Harper. They want to do the hair flip.
Yep.
They want to model their game around Brice Harper.
Yep. And that's something we'll dive a little bit deeper into the show later. But one of the things that I did want to, I still think he ends up in San Francisco, either San Francisco or Philly.
Yep.
And the only thing drawing me to San Francisco is who better to make and bring on garbage contracts than the Giants. They have some of the worst contracts, some of the biggest, most just garbage contracts. So hell, why not add 1 more? But it would be pretty cool to see Brice hitting bombs into the McCovey Cove.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen that since Bonds.
Right. Yeah, and if anyone can do it, I'm pretty sure it's Brice.
Yes.
So yeah, that would be really cool. And so let's say hypothetically he does sign with either the Padres or the Giants. I think it's something rather unique, and I tried to think back on it. And if anyone out there can think of a situation that is very similar to this, please let me know, because I couldn't think of any. When is the last time we had this many faces of baseball on the West Coast? I mean, arguably 3 of the top 5 are going to be on the West Coast. And do I think that's good for baseball? Yeah, I really do. I really do. There, almost all sports you can say have an East Coast bias. So anytime you can get a big, thoroughbred out there like that, absolutely. Is it going to suck living in Michigan and trying to stay up and watch 10 o'clock games? Yeah. I hope my DVR is ready, because no dice. No dice. Unless you guys get these download counts up and we get some revenue rolling in, and Turbo and 2Ks can just retire and do this for fun. In which case, if that's what you guys want, give us your money. I am not opposed to asking for money. But yeah, that I really couldn't think of a time. And I was sitting at lunch Friday when I was making this up, and I can't think of any sport that's like that. There's always, and I'm not taking anything away from the East Coast or the Central. There's big names there, but not like this. Mike Trout, Brice Harper, Manny Machado. The 3 generational players that I think, when we look back on this, there are some, and this is hard for me to say being a Red Sox fan. I don't put Mookie Betts up there. Could he? Yeah. But these guys have done it for years. Mookie, I think, is still trying to crack that echelon. If there's a Mount Rushmore for what we're talking about, these 3 are chiseled. The 4th one, we're still waiting. And and that's one of the things we told you in the first podcast, is we do have our favorites, but we're not completely homer. But yeah, does he have the, does Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, we could sit, any one of the Cubs kids, we could sit here for days and days and days.
Mm.
And that's one of the most awesome parts about baseball right now is there's so many young kids
Oh,
that
man.
are just killing the sport. And I love it. I love it. I love every minute of it. And it's it's I much rather like the talent we have on the field right now as opposed to going back to the home run race with, 98 with, Bonds and, even before Bonds with the Sosa and McGuires. That was a fun time to be a baseball fan. But I think right now is even better.
Right now, this is hands down the best in my lifetime as far as where the baseball talent is now. I can go on all night long and just keep on naming out players.
Yep.
I mean, the first one off, Ronald Acuna Jr. He is going to be the next. He might be the fourth, and
Yep.
going back to the Mount Rushmore, he might be the fourth.
Yep. I mean, it could very well be true.
Jose Altuve's teammate Alex Bregman. I don't even think he's touched the surface yet of what he's going to do.
Even though he's a great talent, but there's just something. And I've watched things on him, and he's a great guy, a great human. But there's something I just don't like.
Mm-hmm. Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
I mean, the Astros, they have three guys that, yeah, the talent in baseball right now, and it's young.
Yeah.
Young.
Now, we're in speaking of scratching the surface, I think we're just starting to scratch the surface of these young players and these contracts like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because your Correas, your Chris Bryants, Javi Baez, all of the guys that we just talked about are going to look to get paid.
I'm having a brain fart. I can't even think of third baseman for the Rockies.
Arenado.
He's going to be next year's.
Yep.
He's going to be the story next year. Where is he going to go? And you're going to have to fork out $300 million to bring him on.
And the only thing that I think is kind of different with him is he plays in Colorado. Do I think that bat can travel? Absolutely. 100%.
And the glove. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it on the glove. I mean,
Yeah, the altitude does not affect your fielding. No. If anything, if you want to talk about it like that, it should make you a better athlete for training in conditions like that. But this is as much as I love the game so much right now. The game is about ready to get turned on its head because, and this is something that I didn't even have written down, but let's dive into the reason why the Padres were able to sign Manny. It's because of that luxury tax. And that's why the Red Sox were out. That's why the Yankees were ultimately out. That's why the Cubs were ultimately out. And I watched it was a phone interview with the GM for the Padres, and he said, I don't think in my lifetime we'll ever see a player of this caliber for this price. Meaning this low of a price.
Yeah.
Because the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. Was it 2020?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to start this year with trying to get everything moving. So we're going to see a lot of things change because of these young kids. The Astros as we know them right now, probably in 2 years, can be a whole different story. Yeah. The Cubs are the same way. And the Braves are ultimately going to be there too. So I have a feeling that, and that's kind of the part that scares me. It's like, all right, these players are killing it. But how long am I if they're on my team, like the team that I root for? How long are they going to be there? You have them, for at least the arbitration period. But yeah, even looking at myself with the Red Sox, they're not as young, which that only means this is going to hit them first. You can't keep all those kids in one spot.
Nope.
And I really don't think that. I mean, hey, they are in New England, so maybe the whole Patriots, let's stick together. No, probably not.
No. Probably not,
but hell, it's worth a shot.
I mean, 2021. That's when Mike Trout's going to be a free agent.
Yep.
What's he going to? He going to be $400 million?
I would pay Mike Trout every bit of $400 million more than I would pay
If
Manny Machado or Brice Harper.
if my team was contending at the time, 2021, say the Tigers have all these up and coming players, and they're ready to make a run at things, and they're missing, they need that big bat to add in there. I call Mike Trout. I had set up a meeting with him. I would basically tell Mike Trout, what do you want?
Yep.
How much do I need to offer you? What's the offer? Whatever you say, I will offer you, because that is the type of player that he is. He is, hands down, the best baseball player that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yep.
Hands down. When we go back to that Mount Rushmore with the 4 players on there, Mike Trout is a step higher than all those other. I mean, and not taking anything away from any of those other guys, but Mike Trout is hands down the best baseball player I have ever seen.
And he's still, the thing that separates him from the other two is he's done it for almost 10 years, if not 10 years.
Yeah, and people forget about that.
Yeah.
He's so good and he's so consistently good that people forget about it because, and part of it is, going back to to the West Coast, most people don't want to stay up until 10 o'clock at night to start watching a baseball game. So unfortunately we don't get to watch the best player in baseball unless he's on the road. Or for me or for us, we get to watch Tigers every single night.
Right.
So when when the Angels are in town, I want to watch it every single night because I want to see Mike Trout, and that's really the only chance I ever get to watch him.
And he's still one of the ones that I have not seen in real life. I haven't seen him play yet. Will I? Yes.
Absolutely.
But kind of, we're going to continue the Mike Trout train before Kyle actually drops down and starts giving him a blowjob. How would you?
Hey, if that would get him on my team.
Line it up. Oh, you're only looking for one? I was actually expecting to give you 3. So, but we've kind of self-transitioned ourselves into this, and the question being is how does each one, Brice and Manny, compare to Mike Trout? And I'm gonna state this before I even dive into what I think or what Kyle thinks. We're not talking about who's a better player. That is completely and 100% your opinion. Numbers don't lie. However, their numbers, all 3 of them are putting up badass numbers. All 3 of them can pick it in the field. So when you're trying to choose one when it's on the field, I mean, granted, like Kyle and I were just talking about, I'm pretty sure both of us would take Mike Trout over the other 2. But what makes him different? And I kind of look at it this way. Because ultimately, when you're an owner, baseball is a business. You're trying to win games, of course. I just went a little Brett Favre on you. Of course I do. But, and the more, 9 times out of 10, the more games you win, the more money you're going to make, because more people are going to want to watch your product, and more people are going to, buy a hot dog and a beer and a hat before they leave. So, yeah. But I kind of took it to this point is, when you are a business, how do you determine success? Is it rings? Is it money? And just like I said, the more games you win, the more money you're gonna bring in. That's ultimately. I mean, the best franchises in any sport are not going broke by any means. The Red Sox are not losing money. But my take is kind of this. What about advertising dollars? Out of the 3, you choose Brice Harper all day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already doing it. Like you alluded to earlier. I mean, all these kids want to be him. They want their haircut like him. The only really, really cool thing is, I hope with these kids, they look at him and not only see, the flowing mane and the gorgeous beard, but how much he busts out of the box and runs out infield singles. How much, he legs out, turns that normal single into a double, or going first to third, or hustling after balls. Ultimately that's what I hope kids take away. But with that, you do get the window dressing, you do get the prettiness, and ultimately, when you have a skill set like that and an appearance like that, you are going to generate more revenue with advertising than, say, a Manny Machado. And especially, I mean, Mike Trout really doesn't care about advertising. You and I were talking before we went on air, and the only ad I can really think of is an MLB ad, and it's for anti-bullying, which I kind of have a feeling that that's built into their contract. So I could totally be wrong. So he might not even got paid for that. I really don't think he's driven by things like that. Whereas the other two, Manny, it's still kind of up in the air. But to kind of close up the Manny, Mike Trout, Kyle's love affair and bromance, I'm going to throw this out there, and Kyle, tell me if I'm completely out in left field. Is this Manny Machado signing is reminiscent to me of A-Rod going to the Rangers? Both giant contracts, both the biggest contracts per year when they signed him, and both to kind of a team that really isn't there. Am I completely delusional, or does that make some sense?
No, I agree. I agree 100% with you. I mean, and at the time when A-Rod signed that deal with Texas, I mean, there was a lot of question marks there with Texas. I mean, they weren't, but they were up and coming. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same, basically the same thing that Manny's going into right now with the Padres. There's a lot of question marks there. We don't know. Just because we don't know these names doesn't mean that these kids are not going to pan out and they're going to shock the world. And do I see it happening right now? No, but here in the next 2 years, it's going to be a different story. And when you add a name like Manny Machado, and they still have money to work with, and a lot of money, even if they don't get Brice Harper this year, there's going to be big names next year. There's going to be big names. There's going to be big names the next year.
Yes.
And they're going to have money to go after him. And if you have a guy like Manny Machado on your team, that's going to help your case as far as, hey, come to San Diego. For one, San Diego, you shouldn't have to argue with anybody to go live in San Diego. And
no.
I mean, might be the best city in America to live in. I mean,
aside from Miami, yeah.
And then you have Manny Machado there, and then you have all these young kids coming up.
Yeah. Just like a basketball.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yep.
Happens all the time.
So it would not shock me if the Padres, sneak in as a wild card team this year. It would not shock me one bit.
Not at all.
But
it wouldn't shock me either if they go under 500.
I agree 100%.
I mean, it's long story short, it's going to be a challenge. It is going to be a process, so it's one of those we're just going to have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for us to sit here and spend other people's money. But when it becomes your own, I'm sure the owner of the Padres just didn't do this willy-nilly.
No.
They researched it. They brought him in. Is he a good fit? But like I said, I'm more worried about the supporting cast than the star.
Yeah.
And even if you would have told me that the Yankees signed him, even as a Red Sox fan, that lineup does not scare me. Does it make it better? Yeah, a whole lot better. What would scare me more is if, just say for instance, Justin Verlander was a free agent, and the Yankees signed JV. Hell yes, that makes, the signing of J.A. Happ, it's all right. Mm-hmm. It's all right. It fits a need.
It's a solid pickup. It's not that sexy Verlander pickup, but it's a solid pickup. It's a 4 or 5 starter that,
It fits a need. Mm-hmm. But no, that one, either a shortstop or a third baseman, can they take over a game? Yeah. But is it more likely that a pitcher will take over a game? Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Every 5 days, a pitcher can. I mean, JV in his Tiger days.
Yeah, we were spoiled.
It was, every 5 days he was flirting with a no-hitter. He was winning a game by himself, pitching 8, 9 innings, shutout ball. I mean, it was.
I had a buddy Adam that and this went on for years, up until he got traded. Every time JV started, he would, as soon as there was a hit, he'd be like, "Oh, JV lost a no." But keep it on the baseball theme here, Mr. 2Ks. I don't know if you realize, but spring training has started. Spring training has started.
The Tigers are 1-0.
Well, they're going to World Series. And if you ask any Cubs fan that actually follows this shit, the Tigers are going to be playing the Cubs, because every Cubs fan that I know that follows spring training, their mind exploded because Chris Bryant hit a home run in his first at bat. So Cubs fans are already penciling in the Cubs as the World Series champion. Chris Bryant is going to hit 140 home runs. And so, yeah, that we don't need to watch baseball anymore.
Can Chris Bryant come out of the bullpen and pitch for him also?
I mean, if he needs to. If he
might
needs
need to this
yeah.
year. He might need to. Might need to close some games out for him.
You know what? We've seen Joe Madden take a pitcher, put him into left field, and then bring the pitcher back. So I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but on the other hand, I'm saying it might happen. You never know. You never know. But Kyle, what are you? And I know this just started. A lot of games, a lot of teams just got started today. And so, what are you looking forward to the most? If you had just a couple things to kind of keep an eye on, you got a raging hard on for spring training. What are your takeaways?
Well, the first thing is just that it's baseball season. I mean, I've been watching YouTube videos all week long just because I want to hear the sound of a baseball hitting a bat. I mean, just speaking to hard-ons.
I was just gonna say, if that doesn't give you a hard on, and then listen to that and smell a baseball glove, put it up to your face. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I like spring training. What I pay attention to the most. Everybody knows the Tigers are my favorite team. They're the team that I follow. Spring training is a chance for all these young kids to come in, make a name for themselves, get their career started. And so I'm gonna talk about the Tigers a little bit. And they're going through their rebuild right now. There's a lot of names that I've never even heard of the guy.
And that's one of the things that I had on my list too, was watch the young Tigers, the young talent, and how they not only just watch them on the field, but how they gravitate towards Mickey. Because we've stated on this show already that his being, his aura, is just infectious. And if I was one of these up and coming kids, oh buddy, I would be a sponge, all ears. I'd have a notebook like JD. I'd have my iPhone going to record what he says in video, and so that and I'm sure, Coach Gardenhire is going to be like, yo.
I want to watch that guy. He might teach you a thing or two.
Have you looked his videos up on YouTube? Because I know you're young as fuck. Have you seen this? Yeah. But that was one of mine as well. So, and then to kind of you and I both agreed on this. A kind of under the radar sneaky signing is Josh Harrison, and I'm always stoked when you get especially a second baseman. Second baseman, it seems like your shortstop's the flashy one. The second baseman is kind of like the forgotten story in the infield, but he's also one of the biggest linchpins. So when you can bring in a veteran presence like that, and then with the Mercer signing, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Kind of makes sense. So it's kind of cool to see, and then the whole storyline that they were they roommates when they were with the Pirates, and so I mean it's going to be kind of cool to see how that works out. You got anything else that you're paying attention to?
No, I mean, I pay attention to all, but there's a lot of young kids that, we hear them, they're in the top 10 prospects. We hear all about them, but we haven't really seen them play, and this is when we really get the chance to see them get at bats against big league pitching. And you talk about the Fernando Tatis Jr. We haven't really seen anything out of him yet with the Padres, and he might be the big story this year as far as for rookies. There's always that one or two rookies that kind of take the stage, and every season, and he might be the guy. And you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yep.
Everybody knows that name, but we haven't seen him hit big league pitching yet. And here in the spring training, we're going to get a chance to see that. And he's got a pretty legit shot of making their everyday roster here. So.
And if nothing else, those two, just from what I've been reading, Tatis Jr. will be up this year. It's just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very, very good feeling that Vlad Jr. will be up. Then again, it's just the when.
Mm-hmm.
Are they willing to give up one of those arbitration years? The whole Chris Bryant, thing, and so that's kind of, and like Kyle said too, this could be, and maybe they don't make it this year. Maybe who knows? Who knows? This might be the only time we actually get to see them,
Yep.
aside from, MLB Network, clips and stuff like that. So that was one thing that I was really, and that's on my list as well, and a little bit of homerism, just watching my Red Sox dominate and defend the title. So that's what I'm super stoked about. And so yeah, that's our take on baseball. And I had very bulleted points because if we don't, Kyle and I can sit here and talk for 5 or 6 hours about baseball and probably never repeat anything, even though how many beers we've had. So the next topic, obviously, and it's kind of ironic that we're recording this on Saturday instead of Sunday, is on the TV behind Kyle is the Duke-Syracuse game. And I'm pretty sure, wow, Wednesday was crazy.
Yeah.
Wednesday was fucking
crazy. I
crazy.
want to go back to last Sunday and kind of take back everything that I said. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about basketball, and then Wednesday night happened, and I was like, wow, maybe I don't know everything that...
And that's kind of the beauty of having this recorded is... and it's not that we... Because I'll be 100% honest. When I go through and edit these podcasts, I might listen to the first half hour, make sure everything's going cool, because honestly, it pretty much does it itself. And I really don't listen to the whole thing. Our listeners do. Our listeners do. So yeah, that's one of the greatest parts about it is, if we say something stupid, people let us know.
Yeah.
People let us know. But getting back to the game right now, it's just halftime. Syracuse is up 34-29, and I feel kind of bad because I'm putting Kyle on the spot, and he hasn't been able to watch any of this. This is a different Duke team without Zion.
No.
Very different. Very different. And kind of into, of course, that Zion going down, A, as early as it was, B, how freakish it was. I mean, I have never seen that in my life. And a shoe explode. What I mean, and I guarantee Nike was watching that and they're like, oh shit, oh shit.
Change channel.
Yep. This is not happening. This is not happening.
And of all guys, to blow out a Nike, Zion Williams,
The biggest dude on the planet.
The biggest college basketball story there is right now.
Yes.
I think everybody would agree with me when I say he's going to be the number one pick in the draft. Does not look good when your Nike shoe blows out on you.
No.
On a national stage in Duke, North Carolina.
In front of former President Obama. Yeah. Yeah. And that... Let me ask you a question, Kyle. When what is the most baffling thing, the most baffling takeaway between these two of the game? Obviously the shoe blew out, or Coach K's inability to coach 3 potential top 10 picks to even compete in that game. Granted, they made it closer than what it. I mean, North Carolina dominated that game.
Absolutely.
I mean,
in every facet of
especially
the
the
game.
paint,
Yes.
especially the paint, and I was just shocked. I mean, granted, they did make some adjustments in halftime, but wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that when you take Zion is, I mean, he's like I said earlier, he's the story of college basketball this year. He's the catalyst of that Duke team. They all feed off of him. The excitement that he brings. When you lose a guy like that in a Duke North Carolina game, that's you go to Duke to play in that game. That's the Michigan Ohio State rivalry. That's the Boston Red Sox New York Yankees rivalry.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. And when you lose a guy of his caliber in the first 30 seconds of a game,
Especially if you're one of these morons that spent $3,600 on a fucking ticket. Yeah.
It was over when that happened, and at the same time, we talked about it last week. Duke is, they're young.
Yeah.
All these they're not going to deal with adversity like a team like your typical Tom Izzo Michigan State teams where you have guys that are
Or even
in
like
their third, fourth season, and
Tennessee that's laden with juniors
yes,
and seniors.
yes, and those teams can deal with that adversity to where when you have a team full of freshmen, 18-year-olds, they're not ready for that, and when you lose your top player, that guy that you depend on to do everything, and to his big dunk, his flashy dunks that are setting the crowd off, and when you take that away,
especially at Cameron Indoor.
yes, that's your home court advantage just went out the window with 30 seconds into the game.
Yep.
And so I mean, it's they're without Zion, they're not the number one team in the nation.
No.
Are they still a top 4 team in the nation? Maybe.
They're definitely a top 10 team.
Yes.
But I mean, if they keep and now granted they've already lost to Syracuse already.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything continues with this game, oh, by the way, I didn't know I was going to bring this up before when we were talking baseball. Your boy Jose Iglesias signed with the Reds today for a minor league deal. Why the Tigers didn't sign him to a minor league deal is beyond me, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking basketball. But my biggest takeaway was just, my God, if any coach in the history of college basketball could have somehow flipped that switch to get a win, even though your diamond in the rough, he's not even in the rough, your diamond is gone, and it would have been Coach K. And I was shocked. He looked, just judging from his body language, he looked confused. He looked sad. Looked like he needed a hug. I don't know. That the fire wasn't in him. So that was the most shocking part of it to me. Granted, we don't see shoes blow out all the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I think it was when LeBron went to the Heat. Nike did a whole thing. It was I'm pretty sure it wasn't a commercial. It was on Facebook or on the internet or something. They showed the differences between his shoe, the ones that he uses and wears, as compared to the ones that the LeBrons you buy in the store. Obviously, they're completely different. And to kind of wrap up the sneaker talk, I thought it was rather funny because he was wearing Paul George's shoe.
Yeah.
And one of the reporters at, I can't remember where the Thunder were playing, but asked him about it. I would have been like, yo, I don't make the fucking shoe. I designed it. I made it look pretty. Do I stitch him? No. Get the fuck out of my face. No. Next question.
And Paul George is not 280 pounds like Zion. No. I mean, Zion needs to be wearing LeBron's shoe.
Yeah.
He's built like LeBron. So wear a LeBron shoe. Don't wear a Paul George where, Paul George 6'8", 6'9", but he's, 225 pounds, 230 pounds. He's not 270.
A fucking tank. And I mean, when it all comes down to it, they're both Nike shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you would think, and granted, this is all speculation. I mean, Nike probably just didn't. I'm pretty sure, especially with the top caliber talent that Duke has, they're not just going to give a dude, oh, size 14? Hold on. All right, well, I've got a 13 and a half and a 14 and a half. You know, they don't go through the same stupid shit that we do at Finish Line, you know what I mean? They probably make a custom shoe just for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it unfortunate? Yes. Is it, my takeaway is, what's more unfortunate to me was Coach K's coaching the rest of the game. That blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
But, if that Duke team comes out as flat with Zion, they're not winning the game anyway.
And going back to Coach K, is he as good as what people think he is? I mean, is he a great recruiter? I don't think anybody can argue that.
No, can't argue that at all.
Is he a great coach? Now, would Coach K have the wins that he has if he was recruiting like a Michigan State Tom Izzo style players? No, I don't think so. And I'm not trying to knock on Coach K. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great coach, but what makes him a great coach is
he has great people.
Yes, he has a great staff, arguably the best staff.
Yeah.
And he's a great recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have 3 kids in the top 5,
yeah,
it doesn't matter who the hell you are. You just roll out there and you're going to win ball games.
I would really like to see him and Calipari have just a squad of 4 stars.
Yes.
And do the type of shit that Coach Izzo does to compete year in and year out with maybe one.
Build that Michigan State culture, it pains me to say this because I'm not an Izzo fan at all, and I shouldn't say I'm not an Izzo fan. I'm not a Michigan. I hate Michigan State.
Yeah.
But every year you see these kids that are probably ready to go to the next level and go to the NBA, but they bought into that Michigan State culture and they bought into that Tom Izzo way.
Yep. And
they come back for their senior year or their junior year, and everybody's saying, oh, they're going to be they're going to be a top 10 draft pick, but they come back and they play for that, and that speaks volumes for Tom Izzo and the type of coach that he is, and be able to get these kids to buy in to his system, and they might not have the national championships that Duke has, but they're relevant every year.
Every year. Unlike my Fighting Irish today, which I saw lost a game they didn't even deserve to be in. But, they, getting back to, kind of coaching styles, that's another one too that Notre Dame doesn't have. I mean, they might have 1 or 2 4 stars. Everyone else is below that. And the first year they were in the ACC, they won the ACC tournament. They made a deep run in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, you're right, and that is to me it's harder to build that program, build that brand, than do what. And I'm not even saying I'm not putting Coach K in that Coach Calipari argument yet. Calipari's done it for years and years and years and years and years, and Coach K is getting there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is it a program? Yeah, no. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's a different program. Mm-hmm. Is one better than the other? It's your preference. Mm-hmm. It's your preference. I mean, I have a very good feeling that, hell, you even look 15, 20 years ago, if you were a freshman, you didn't play hardly at all. Mm-hmm. And now to kind of fast forward to now where you play 1 year and they're done. So, it's giving you like a football kind of, for instance, it's the Big Ten versus the SEC. The Big Ten, line up a bunch of dudes and run the ball behind them. Throw the ball when we need to. Versus the SEC or the Big 12, let's just air this fucker out. Mm-hmm. Which is better? It's a preference. Mm-hmm. Both are winning strategies. So it's whichever one you prefer. And kind of keep it on the basketball thing here. And Wednesday was crazy. Was crazy.
Upsets everywhere.
And I only listened to one. I only listed one, which is Louisville got dominated. Michigan State won a squeaker, which they were getting destroyed at halftime.
But I mean, it's like we touched on last week. There's not a night off in the Big Ten. It doesn't matter who you're playing against.
Nope.
You're gonna get. It's a battle every single night, but I mean Wednesday night alone we had Florida taking down LSU. You know, we were talking about.
And today LSU took down Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
and
did it without their number one player, which is completely mind blowing.
Yeah.
The guy who stepped in for him only dropped like 28 points.
Mm-hmm. San Diego State taking out Nevada Wednesday. Nevada, number 16 in the nation. Georgetown beating Villanova. Villanova, I've kind of thought all season they've been a little bit overrated, kind of coming off of last season's national championship. They're a little overrated. But, I mean, they're still 14, 15 in the country, and they get taken out by Georgetown, not even ranked.
Yep.
So, Wednesday was a crazy
night. With Georgetown, is that Patrick Ewing coaching there?
You know, I'm not real sure. I know they got like the YouTube
I want to say
sensation there. I can't even think of his name right now. But I remember watching all of his dunks. But yeah.
I want to say that he is. I want to say because I saw something where his team and Chris Mullin's team played each other, and I want to say that that Ewing's down in Georgetown. I want to say it's neither here nor there, but yeah, like I said, it's to kind of wrap all of that up. I have a feeling we're going to see more of this.
Oh yeah.
It's crunch time. It's shit or get off the pot time. It is you better solidify and get on a roll for tournament time.
Yeah, Michigan State tomorrow. I mean that's maybe the biggest game this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's gonna be and they still got to play against each other one more time yet. So tomorrow's in Chrysler.
I do find it odd that it's a Sunday game.
Yeah.
Not a Saturday. Because I was flipping through trying to find both either a Michigan State game or a Michigan game because the Notre Dame game, even it was so fucking hard to watch, was on ESPN for whatever reason. They're playing Virginia Tech. Still not sure how that's a big draw, but it's not my money. But to kind of put a bow on our college basketball talk, with the Zion Williamson, the whole one and done. Do you think it's done?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about, even though the next NBA collective bargaining agreement I think is up in 2021 or some shit like that they might kind of speed track this through to make sure that obviously this type of shit doesn't happen again. My biggest takeaway is I'm so shocked that it took something this big. Granted, hopefully it's not that big. It was a grade 1 knee sprain. So hopefully he's out for a week and comes back and he's Zion doing Zion shit.
Yes. You know? We all want to see him playing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's been the story of college basketball this year. But yeah, I think it's done. I think this is finally kind of the
nail in the coffin.
Yeah, this is it. And it should have happened. It should have never even changed.
No.
I mean Now I do think that if you do commit to college and you go to play college, I don't think it should be one and done anymore. I think you should have to put 2 years in.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
And I think that would be better for the NBA game and the college game both.
Because if you're a fan of, your team in college sports,
yes,
or college basketball rather, if you're a Duke fan, I mean, granted you get inundated with new players, great players every year. Same with a lot of the big programs. But how much cooler would it be to
have them for 2 years?
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. And I mean, this week, with everything happening with now the talk is Zion going to shut it down? And I hate that argument because everybody, hindsight's 20/20. We can all look back now and say, oh yeah, Zion's going to be the number one pick. But that argument really sucks because if Zion would have came straight out of high school, he would not have been the number one pick.
No.
He's going to end up being the number one pick this year, and he's going to make a hell of a lot more money than if he would have went straight out of high school and got drafted. Probably still in the top 10. But that's a big money changer from being the 10th pick of the draft and being the number one pick of the draft. And so, don't feed me that argument that college basketball is just taking advantage of Zion and they've ruined him this year. Bullshit. No. Duke made Zion into what he is now, and going there for that year.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, I think even if, because LeBron has come out and said that if he were to go to college, he would have went to Duke, hands down. I think a year with Coach K, learning how to be the man, how to close games, how to be the alpha, we would see a whole different LeBron James, because that first 5-6 years, he was figuring shit out.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have went with Coach K for a year, I think he would have figured shit out a long time before that, and he would have his game would be totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, granted, he went number one. He went where he wanted. Life was good. So yeah, I mean, granted, yes. Now he's 3-time NBA champion. Probably has more money that I could burn than, you know what I mean. So we're not saying things haven't quite worked out for the King, but I think his legacy, his demeanor, his whole just cut your throat mentality would have been a whole lot different, and might have developed a whole lot quicker if you would have done that 1 year.
Mm.
But I'm right there with you. Either go straight from high school or do 2 years.
Mm.
It's one and done is bullshit.
Mm.
And I know there's going to be some people, oh, well, Turbs, you can go play in Europe. You can go play in the D League. Yeah, suck my D's nuts. Fuck that. No.
And another argument that I've heard people, well, I was just talking to somebody at the bar last night about it. They were asking, should the NBA take on like the MLB approach when it comes to the draft, where you can enter the draft and you fall in the draft and get picked somewhere where you don't think that you need to be picked. You have that option to forego that and go play college ball for a year or two. And
yeah, there's dudes in the MLB that are drafted 3 times.
Yes. And my answer to that is I don't ever see that working out, because you're talking in the NBA draft you get 2 picks, maybe 3.
Yeah.
In the MLB draft you're getting 40 plus picks. I mean, to where it's not a player making that choice. You have 2 or 3 players that make that choice. Say, oh, I'm not going to sign that. I'm going to go to college and play for a year. I'm going to try the draft out next year. When your team's only drafting 2 players and they lose 1 player to that, teams can't afford that. I mean, baseball rosters have minor league systems. You have 25 guys on each. In an NBA team, you have 13 guys dressing 15 guys on your roster.
Yep.
And
even just like the Kyler Murray thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I'm not saying this is the way it's going to go, but everything is pointing towards this direction that he's going to enter the NFL draft, which I'm still kind of shocked at that. However, one of the arguments is that if he gets drafted by the NFL, he's going to play a whole lot quicker. Mm-hmm. He's guaranteed to make, well, even Jamarcus Russell made an NFL team, so he's going to make the team. But how many first-round picks of an MLB team actually make the big squad? And I was watching, I think it was Golic and Wingo last week or a couple weeks ago, and they had Mark Teixeira on. And Teixeira was, I think, a number 12 overall pick by the Rangers. I'm just spitballing, but it's in that range. Mm-hmm. And only two other people in that draft. And I'm trying to stall to remember the last guy's name, but it's not going to happen. Teixeira and two other people were the only people in that whole first round to make an All-Star game, or an All-Star team. Mark Pryor was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
The other dude, I'm pretty sure I can't even remember his name. That's how awesome he is. But it's more of a hit or miss, and you're talking to a young kid that, do you want to spend 3 or 4 years riding around in a bus or doing other shit besides playing baseball? And for me, I'm on the camp. I would much rather play baseball. It's less. No one's hitting me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Call me a pussy, but no one's hitting me. Unless you're throwing at me, and then, my pitcher's going to have something to say about that. It's a lot less impact. The career expectancy, if you do make it, is a lot longer. Just ask Jeff Samardzija. Signed a $90 million contract and has played like garbage.
Mm.
Getting back to the Giants' horrible contracts. But, yeah, give me $90. I will suck every day.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm getting paid. But, yeah, that's... But you're right. And on top of that, the thing that drives that whole MLB type system to basketball is, who in the hell is going to go watch minor league basketball?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. And then you have to have all these other the big teams, the NBA teams, have to be affiliated with these teams. And would it be cool to see if it actually did happen? Yeah, I could buy into it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea by any means, but financially, is it? No, I just don't see it. And that's probably why the NFL, even though this AAL or whatever the hell it is, haven't watched a game. I saw a quarterback get his head destroyed. That was pretty cool. But yeah, when Christian Hackenberg is the star of the league, yeah, count me out of that one. But, everyone's like, oh man, football's awesome. I can watch football every day. Not that kind of football, man. No. I love me some college football. I love me some NFL football, but not. Granted, the XFL was cool the first 2 weeks. And after he hate me took that off the back of his jersey, I stopped watching. I mean, hands down, because that was cool as shit. But no, that's it. It's not financially feasible, I wouldn't think. And then, at what point do you just put dudes out for the sake of putting dudes out there? Eventually, all right, well, let's go down to single A. What are you just going to do? Take people out of the fucking stands? Yo, are you wearing your Jordans? Yeah? Do you have some shorts you can put on? No? All right, we have shorts and a t-shirt. Come with me. Hey, you ever played basketball before? No, I just like Jordans. Fine, fuck it, let's go. I really don't, to me, I don't know, that, and I look at it like, would I spend my hard-earned money to go watch a minor league basketball game? No. Baseball, yeah, I do it quite frequently in the summertime. I will be at more than my fair share of South Bend Cubs games. I will be at more than my fair share of the games in Kalamazoo. I'm going to try to make it up to a couple Whitecaps games. But yeah, then again, you're looking at $12 a ticket.
Yeah.
Beers are $5. Dogs are a couple bucks. You're not shelling out, Comerica prices by any means. All right, so it is that time in the podcast. I teased with it at the beginning. We're going to talk about hookers. Okay, I know what you're saying, Turb. Okay, professional ladies. And when I sent this over to Kyle on Friday, I was trying to figure out what I could do to kind of spice the podcast up. What are we going to bring in to kind of make you leave with a laugh? And because, yeah, like I said, we could talk sports all day long until we're blue in the face, but my goal for every podcast is to kind of have a hitch. Talk about something that either no one else is talking about, even though everything that we just talked about, everyone's talking about, but we give you a little bit different, our opinion, our side of it. And I think we're going to bring it home, and you're going to, I have a feeling there's a lot of people that agree with me. And right after lunchtime, the the news that Robert Kraft was caught not once, not twice, or not once, but twice on video in with solicitation of prostitution. If you read through the bullshit, dude was at a rub-a-tug and paid someone to either get a blowjob or a handy. I haven't seen the video. It's not up on Pornhub yet. I looked, but my take is this, man. If I was him, I'm single, a billionaire. I don't care if I have to pay for a blowjob or a handy. And you know what? It's none of your fucking business. Mm-hmm. I hope if I ever come into that situation and I am single, I have money that I wipe my ass with $100 bills. Yeah, why not? You're living on top of the fucking world, man. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he did this." Oh my, and then everything just went way out of proportion, and all of a sudden now, Robert Kraft is a part of human trafficking, and it's like, whoa, no, dude just got his rocks off. Probably more than twice. He just got caught twice, and leave the dude alone. I really don't care. But and Kyle, I'll say my piece, and then I'll throw it over to you. But the best part is the memes.
Yes.
The memes. I sent Kyle one before he got over here, and it was of let me bring it up so I make sure I say it right. It's a black and white picture. It has a picture of Robert Kraft on the left, and on the right, just a blank screen with white writing. It says, "Don't blame me. Have you ever tried jerking off with 6 Super Bowl rings?" Robert Kraft. And yeah, do your thing, man. I really don't. His penis is none of my concern unless it's on me. Yeah. Then we have a fucking problem. Get your old balls and your dick out of here. Until that happens, I don't care.
Yes,
I don't care.
He's arguably the greatest franchise owner in all of sports history. I mean, he had 6 Super Bowl rings, like you just said.
It would be more of a story of Tom Brady sucking his dick.
Yeah, the dude wants to go get a $55 handy. Give him a goddamn break. Not a big deal at all. I don't care. I
have some of my friends that shall remain nameless, of course, because this is a podcast. I don't want to bust them out, and I don't know if they still do this or not. But I have a couple buddies that have been single for a long time that actually budget into their monthly budget sex. Is it what I would do? No. Is it their money? Yeah. Unless they get caught like Robert Kraft did. Have at it, man. Yeah. Have at it. I'm
kudos. I'm giving them kudos. I mean,
yeah. Thankfully, it still works at that age.
Yes,
I mean, fuck.
Absolutely.
There could be a lot worse. I mean, come on, guys. And I know. Anything that happens with the Patriots is they're a fucking lightning rod. Because A, you love them. But if you live outside of New England, you hate them. Or some people in Michigan just because Tom Brady went to Michigan. But they're very the whole organization is very polarizing. And I'm trying off the top of my dome here. Someone sent me I saw on Facebook a meme that said Bill Belichick, Spygate, Tom Brady, Deflategate, Robert Kraft, Tailgate. But the whole jerking off with 6 Super Bowl rings had me. And of course, my perverted mind is like, okay, did he have one size to fit the other member, or did we just double up on a finger? Granted, that's obviously neither here nor there, but that's just how my mind works. Give me a little snippet of things that go through my mind. But yeah, Kyle, what are your thoughts on Tailgate here?
I mean, just like you just said. I mean, hey, he's got the 6 Super Bowl rings. That speaks for himself right there. I mean, he's earned the right, in my opinion. If he wants to go get handies, who the hell are we to question him?
God bless it. Just go get your dick sucked.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. He's earned that right. If you own a franchise and you have 6 Super Bowl rings, You can do whatever the hell you want, as far as I'm concerned.
I would have 6 different girls blow me.
Yeah, yes.
Daily.
Yeah.
Daily.
He's 75 years old.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
He's had a good run.
Yes.
Everyone's like, oh, well, his charities and this. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. I really don't. There are a whole lot more other things in this world to be just drawn to than some old man getting his dick sucked.
Yeah.
Regardless of who it is. And one of the things that you brought up right when you got here was, and kind of the thing that intrigues me the most about this story is that they said that there was 25 guys, right? Was it 25?
Mm-hmm.
25, hold on, shouldn't say guys, 25 people.
Yeah.
People, because, you know, here at the Turbo and 2Ks, we're not sexist like that. I mean, you do you. But 25 people, and Robert Kraft's name wasn't the biggest name on there.
And that's shocking to me. Like, I can't. I'm actually like, I keep on updating my Twitter because I'm trying to. I want to know who these people are, because if we have bigger names than Robert Kraft.
And who's the biggest name in Jupiter, Florida?
I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it because I don't. I'm hoping that it's not true.
Yeah, we're talking about one Tiger Eldrick Woods, but I'm right there with you. I hope it doesn't happen. You know, he's been through enough. Leave the poor dude alone.
He's finally getting shit turned around.
Yeah.
He's relevant again.
Yep.
On the golf course. Golf is so much better when Tiger's relevant, and the last thing that guy needs is to have. And I'm gonna say the same damn thing. If it turns out that if Tiger's getting $50 handies or whatever, hey, he's earned it. He's earned that goddamn right.
And I'm pretty sure you cannot argue the fact that he played better when he was a sex addict.
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So it's like I said, I really don't care. I don't.
No.
I don't. I laugh at it, and that's kind of why we brought it up. Otherwise, I would have just when something's that pointless, I really don't. The more hype you get it, the more that hype train's gonna roll, and the more ridiculous shit's gonna get. So, we were just doing it just as a joke.
I'm more concerned over Robert Kraft giving Tom Brady a kiss on the lips after winning the Super Bowl than I am about him. Yeah, that's just weird. That concerns me more than, you know, the old rub and tug shop that he goes. That's just. Maybe I'm bad for thinking that way, but I'm just not smooching the dude on the lips when I win the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be ecstatic.
I'll give you the biggest bro hug.
Yes. Yeah,
and ass slap.
Yes, but I'm not going to kiss you on the lips.
No. Especially a dude that wears Uggs.
Yeah.
No dice. No dice. Everyone's like, oh, well, his wife's gorgeous. Well, that's fine. His wife can be gorgeous. I'm not slapping. No, I'm not kissing him. No.
No.
Nope. All right, well, I think that Kyle, do you have anything else to add here, my friend?
No, man. That's it.
Well, to kind of give you guys an update where we're at, it is a little over 13 minutes to go in the second half, almost said quarter. And Duke has made some major adjustments at halftime. They're up by 2, and they look like a completely different team. And if this team, granted, it's only a small sample size since we've been doing this, the second half, if this was a team that came out the second half against North Carolina, that might have been a different game.
Mm-hmm.
We got a 50-48 score. So, yeah, just figured I'd kind of throw that out to you guys. But, now it's shameless plug time. If you guys are not, if you haven't liked the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/turbo2ks. If you want to drop us an email, give us your thoughts, questions. Tell Kyle he's a moron. It is turbo2ks@gmail.com. And we do have a Patreon set up, and we'll get into that once I get more of the meat and potatoes into that. But, just like we started the show off, we've been picked up by iTunes. We have been picked up by Google Play, but I don't know if any of our episodes have been uploaded to them yet, but keep an eye there. We do have Stitcher. I do have Spotify is another one. We're just waiting to hear back. And then once we've been doing it a month, I can apply for iHeartRadio. So we're going to be oversaturating the market with this lovely voice and the other one across the table from me. And yeah, it's been a very good show. I think you can attest to this. The new digs, the new studio, it's a little bit more relaxing.
Yep.
A little bit more relaxing, and I mean, hell, there's probably no. I'm probably more relaxed behind a bar, and Kyle's more relaxed on the other side of the bar than we are any other place. So,
I mean, we're going to get better every time that we do this. I mean,
yes,
I think there's been improvements
yes,
every week. I mean, I'm gonna be the first one to admit I'm not high on. I really don't ever say shit with a mouthful. So to get me to do this, this is a learning experience for me, and I ask people to be patient with me, and I'm gonna get better as it goes.
And hopefully with listening to this, you did realize, and hopefully it comes out the way I'm thinking, that our audio quality is a little better because we figured out how to use the mics. I figured out they are one directional, so we're talking directly into them and not, towards the end. And last week in particular, Kyle's was face down, mine was face up, so my voice was a little bit more prevalent than his. So now I'm pretty sure that night I learned how to use our mixer a little bit better. So yes, we are striving to get the quality up there, so it's a way easier listen for you guys. But other than that, have a great week. We will see you back here next week, and until then, watch out, Jim Rohn. We're coming for you.